Thank you all for joining us today. My name is Grace Rains, and I am the Director of Operations here at The Conductor. And so I get to work with entrepreneurs, innovators, makers, for everything from marketing to one-on-one consultations around their business model. And so for those of you that aren't familiar with The Conductor, we're a public-private partnership between the University of Central Arkansas and Startup Junkie Consulting out of Northwest Arkansas. And we exist to empower entrepreneurs, innovators, and makers. And so we do that through a variety of programs, some of which are like what you're going to see today. So direct technical assistance workshops. We have events that inspire entrepreneurs, like our startup stories events and things like that. And then we also provide direct one-on-one consulting with entrepreneurs. And so all of what we do, the best part about our organization is all of what we do is at no cost. So every way that you engage with the conductor is at no cost to you and your organization. So I really encourage you to take a look at kind of the plethora of services and technical support that we provide and get engaged with us in any way possible. And you can do that at arconductor.org or following us on social media. So today I wanted to talk about digital marketing. And so I've done probably what is the cardinal sin of presentations, and I provided a lot of information today. But the key there is that I have a few resources at the end for some more deep information, because what we're going to do today is go over just a general overview of using digital marketing as a strategy. So we're not going to get super in depth, but we are going to cover a lot of different topics. But there are some resources at the end that will help you if you want to key in on a specific topic that we talk about today and learn a little bit more. And then we'll also have time for Q&A at the very end as well. So as you have questions, please throw those into the chat. And at the end, we can go over those questions, or you can unmute and we'll just have a kind of a roundtable discussion. What I want you to do is, since we're going over a lot of information, just key in on 3 items as we go through this presentation that you want to utilize in your business or in your workplace moving forward. And so if you can come away with 3 key takeaways, that's kind of my ask of you today. So why is digital marketing important? That's where I want to start the conversation today. Many of you, I'm sure, feel that digital marketing is important, or you wouldn't be in a digital marketing webinar unless you're just interested to learn more, or you just want to hear me talk for 45 minutes. But digital marketing has become more and more important over the last few years, specifically as we kind of move into this digital age. And so more consumers are making their purchasing decisions and doing purchasing research online. 84% of people say that they've been convinced to buy a product or service simply by watching a video that a brand came up with. 51% of shoppers search Google before they make an online purchase. And about 60% say that being able to shop online is a deciding factor in whether they buy from a brand. So not having an e-commerce capability can be the deciding factor whether or not you make a sale. And so this is a huge change that we see over the last few years. And there's a lot of ways to reach out to people utilizing digital marketing and on digital marketing platforms. So it can oftentimes seem overwhelming to have a presence at all. And so what I see with a lot of entrepreneurs is that they just don't have a digital presence, or they have a very small digital presence. And so we're going to talk about a bunch of different ways that you can have an online presence today. But there's also ways that you can just kind of ease your way in. You don't have to do all of these things at once. And so that's a key part of kind of this discussion. So what is the digital marketing secret? So the key to me for effective digital marketing is connecting with your ideal client in the right way, in the right place. And so you know what your client looks like. Every business is different. And so connecting with that ideal client in the right way means that you're connecting with them. You're getting in their head. You're providing, the information that they want to see, and in the right place, which means you're connecting with them where they're making their purchasing decisions or where they're making their buying decisions. And so we're going to talk about how to do that. So how do we make that happen? I think of digital marketing as kind of a process. We're working our ideal customers or our potential customers through a process. We're starting by engaging them. We can engage them through blog content, social media, and we turn them into visitors of our brand. And they can be visiting our website. They can be scheduling an appointment, but we turn them into visitors. So we capture them through our website, our landing page, some gated content, and that converts them into leads. And so once we have a lead, we nurture that lead through an email campaign, or we send them into a call to action to get them to schedule an appointment with us or schedule a consultation. And hopefully we're closing that by turning those people into customers. And then after that, we want to build on those customers and create supporters. And so we utilize digital marketing all through this process. And so we're going to break this process down into tips and tricks for securing your business in each of these areas, and kind of how this process works and how we use it as a strategy to utilize digital marketing to your advantage. So let's start with engage. There's a plethora of ways to engage our customers. Like I said, blog content, podcasts are becoming a great way that businesses can engage with their customers and become a subject matter expert. We utilize SEO so that we're optimizing our own website so that when people go out there to search to make those purchasing decisions, they find us. Social media, of course, is a way, and then paid media, just paying for advertising to get your business in front of your ideal customer. So I'm going to start out talking about social media first. This one's the kind of the big monster in the room. There's just so many different social media platforms out there. We're going to talk a little bit about the big ones, but the main thing with social media is that there are a variety of platforms, and each one fits a different market. And so, like I said, your ideal customer, and so it's important to do your research on which platform works best for your audience. So just a few tips as we work through social media. We want to understand and customize your audience. So that's everything from the messaging that you're providing to utilizing the correct platforms. We want to develop your page. So that's more than just going out and creating a social media page. That is making sure that it's filled all the way out. So what is our call to action? Is our website on there? Can they click and find more information? Did we completely fill out all of our hours? Is all the information that they need on that social media platform? Do we have a header? Do we have a social media presence? And so fully developing out your page and filling out all that information, one, promotes your social platforms better. And so those platforms are more likely to promote what you're providing because you've completely filled it out in the same way that SEO works. That works on social media. And then also your customers are able to find that information that they're looking for once they get to your social media platform. You want to plan and schedule your content. So a lot of times, we get busy. And as business owners, you are way too busy to be focusing on social media every day. And so planning and scheduling ahead of time can be a great way to make sure that you're having regular cadence of social media programming without posting every day for a month and then not posting for 2 months because it got crazy, because there was a pandemic, or because, it's Christmas time and it's busy and it's a busy season for your business. And so planning and scheduling that content ahead of time, setting aside some time, planning it out and being done. And then that always allows you to post in the moment content and additional content as needed. You also want to engage. So social media is social. So you want to make sure you're following others and inviting them to follow you. Facebook has a great feature where if someone that is not following your business likes a post that you have, you can go in and invite them to follow you back. And so that's a great way to engage and to increase your likes and your page followers, semi-organically. And then finally, utilizing social listening. So social listening is a relatively new platform. There's some platforms out there, and I'll go over some tools that you can utilize in social listening. But essentially, it allows you to put in some keywords. So that can be your industry, the type of products that you have, your business. And then if people are out there talking about it, you can get notifications that allow you to share that content as additional social media content for you to engage in conversations with your potential customers or with your industry, or just to make sure if someone's talking about you on social media, positively or otherwise, that you're aware of it and that your business is able to respond or promote that kind of social interaction. So when we talk about content, that's the key purpose of social media. And what I see a lot of businesses do is just they're putting out very salesy content about their business. Buy this, do that. social media is meant to be social and people like people. And so you want to make sure that you're engaging on social media in a way that allows your customers to like what you're putting out there. Social media is not just checking a box and putting out content, asking people to follow. Just because you put content out there doesn't mean that people are going to engage with it, or even going to see it. And so the more engaging content that you create, then the more people will see your content and the more they will engage with it and the more your following will grow. So getting a little bit fun with your social media is absolutely necessary in order to create an engaging social media presence. And so there's a way to be fun and be playful and still be professional. And so you want to make sure you're playing that line, but also letting loose with your brand a little bit, and engaging with your customers. So, creating videos. Videos are a super compelling way to create content, especially on social media. Displaying your product or your service in a creative way, demoing new products, going Facebook Live and talking about them, showing behind the scenes content of your team, people like people. So anything about your vendors, your customers, your staff, all of that is content that people want to see outside of just, hey, we're selling this thing or we provide this service. People like reviews, so featuring a great review of your business, creating a blog content or anything like that can be a great way to increase your SEO. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but it's also a way to position yourself as a subject matter expert to your clients and create some content for you. So those are all some ways that you can create compelling content when you're looking at social media scheduling, because sometimes that can be kind of the worst part of social media is just what to post. And so a thing that I like to do is go out and look at other industry leaders in my industry. And so what are other people posting about? What content are they utilizing? If I see a post and I'm like, oh, that's a great engaging way, I screen capture it and utilize it later in our social media. So here are some tools to make social media not quite so much of a monster. And so there's scheduling softwares out there. Hootsuite is a big one, and it works across all platforms. So you can schedule your Facebook, your Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, all of that on one platform. It's pretty inexpensive. The key thing with Hootsuite is that it's not optimized. That means that Facebook and Instagram specifically don't really like scheduled ahead content through Hootsuite. And so it will post, but you may lose a little bit of your reach. The reason that that's not a big deal to me is because if you're getting the post out there because you're scheduling it ahead of time, then that's a win. And so even if it's you lose a little bit of the optimization because you posted through Hootsuite, at least you're posting, there's content out there, you're providing good content. A way to get around that is using in-application scheduling. So Facebook likes when you schedule through the Facebook application. That's a little harder because if you're scheduling Facebook through Facebook and using Later for Instagram, that can get a little crazy if you're having to do it all over the place. Hootsuite makes it a little bit easier. Later is another application specifically for Instagram that works with the optimization, so you can get around that. But utilize a scheduling software and make it easy on yourself to get that content out there. I mentioned social listening earlier. Google Alerts is one way that you can, one platform that you can use for social listening. Awario is another one. So utilize those platforms so that you're getting alerted when key things are happening. And then other platforms are Canva. It's a graphic design platform that easily allows you to create social media friendly graphic design pieces. They have a video aspect to it too. You can create cute little videos in there, but it already has the correct dimensions. You can size it for multiple different platforms and move on. Unsplash is a photo. It provides photos for social media that you can use, just stock photography. Animoto is a great video creator, and then All Hashtag is a great resource for creating hashtags for your industry. So going out and finding the hashtags that your industry uses or trending hashtags so that you can be when people search, for example, hashtag Conway, Arkansas, that's a big one here. If you're a Conway, Arkansas business, utilizing that can kind of get you in that stream. So All Hashtag can kind of bring those to the top, whether it be your industry or your local area, to let you know which hashtags are the most likely ones for you to be found on. And so that is social media. And so all of those platforms are a way that we can engage our clients on the front end. So another opportunity for us to engage our clients is SEO. And SEO is search engine optimization, and it ensures that when people go out and they're searching for your product or they're searching about your industry, that you're coming up in their search. Essentially, the way SEO works is there's bots on the internet that go out and they search the internet for information, and they're looking to see if websites are up to date, if they are secure, if there's valuable content, and they're trying to match that with what people are searching for. And so you want to make sure that there are keywords and phrases on your website that match what your customers are looking for when they go out and they are searching for your products. And so there's a few ways that you can do that. We're going to go through kind of some of the methods for increasing your SEO and increasing your website's ability to be found. Some of the key ways that you can do that is by securing your website. So just making sure that you have an SSL certificate on your website. The bots don't like it if your website's not secure. That doesn't make for a good experience for the user. So they're just trying to match up what the users are looking for. Make sure it's responsive. And so that means that it's available across multiple platforms. So when I go use my mobile phone or my iPad, or I'm on my laptop, your website works no matter where I'm at. The bots really like that. One resource that I've used in the past to kind of just know where your website's at from an SEO standpoint is called Website Grader, and it's www.website.grader.com. And you can see a screen capture here where I did the Conductor website 62, not too bad. We could definitely do better. But essentially it'll grade you on SEO, on your mobilization, on your security of your website, and let you know if that's something that you even need to be looking at and something you need to improve upon. So it's a quick way to get a good understanding of your website. And then finally, you need to be patient. SEO takes time, and so you can go out there and do Website Grader and then go and put in fix your URLs and do your photo alt text and put in quality keywords, and it's not going to change overnight. You've got to wait for those bots to go out and crawl the internet and for people to search for what you're looking for, and slowly you'll see your SEO increase if you don't have a good handle on it right now. So be patient. Some of the quick methods that you can use in order to increase your search engine optimization is keywords. These are a big one. So there's a variety of different types of keywords, and essentially these are the words you're using on the front end and the back end of your website. These are what the bots go out there and search for. So if I go out and I search dry cleaners, Conway, Arkansas, they're going out and looking for dry cleaner websites. And so that, depending on the words that I use, it depends on which dry cleaner I get connected with based on the keywords that they use on their website. So those are the ones there's ones that are on the page. So that's when you put the title in for your website, the headings and subheadings, and kind of the first paragraph of the information that you provide on each page. So it's pivotal to make sure that the keywords that your customers are searching for are in that title, are in the headings and subheadings, and in that first paragraph. The second kind of keyword is what is called metadata. And that is that head title, page description, and the keywords that are provided kind of behind the scenes on your page. And so that's what you're seeing here in this example. That's the metadata. That's the head title that's kind of behind the actual web page. So you want to make sure that those head titles match kind of what your customers are looking for. Digital marketing in Little Rock, Arkansas. If you're a digital marketer in Little Rock, Arkansas, that's a great head title because that's mostly going to be what people are probably searching for when they're looking for you, or digital marketing in Central Arkansas, or whatever your business is. And so one way to know kind of a good keyword tool is to go out and look at Meta SEO Inspector Chrome extension. And you can go out and actually look at the keywords of other websites. So you can go out to your competitors and look at what their keyword searches are, or go out and look at other industry experts and see what are the good keywords for you to be using on your website. So you're not just generating those. But it's pretty easy to kind of think about, what are your customers looking for? What are the products that you provide? And make sure that you're putting in those keywords to match up the searches with your website. So next is URL links and structure. So the bots like it if they can read your URL, and the way they read URLs or read spaces specifically is with hyphens. And so, for example, you want to make sure you're doing good -SEO and not just good SEO. Although this makes it a little bit harder when you're trying to promote a specific URL, it does make it where the bots can read that URL and send your customers specifically to URLs on your website and not just to your homepage all the time. And so all the pages on your website are getting read by the bots, and they're getting promoted to your customers. You also want to be descriptive. So a lot of times when you go out, if you've done any kind of web development or created a new page on your website, it'll just create a page name. So it could be a random assortment of numbers and letters. You want to make sure that you change that to a descriptive URL using those hyphens, so that you're describing what your page has to offer. And then 301 redirects. This is where if a page on your website ends up changing, so you end up changing that URL, you want to make sure that you redirect the old URL to the new URL, just in case somebody has linked your website somewhere or you've linked your website somewhere, so that when somebody goes that URL, it's not just oops or a 504 error message or something like that. You want to make sure it's redirecting to that new page. And then you link, we link, everybody links. You want to make sure that you're linking to your website and other people are linking to your website, because the more links that are out there on the internet to your site, the more validated your site becomes. When other people link your website, it says to the bots that you are a valid website. You're just trying to validate yourself to the internet. That's what SEO is. So that's everything from the security that we talked about to making sure that other people are linking and providing your content. Because if other people are promoting your content, it must be pretty good content. It must be things people want to see. And so anytime you have the opportunity to throw a link into a press release or to link on somebody else's website or partner or just provide your own website links on social media and things like that, utilize it, because that really just validates that you're providing good content. So the next is image SEO. And so this is kind of the bonus round. If you have a lot of images on your website, for example, if you are an e-commerce website, this is pivotally important for you. If you're not using SEO, or if you're not using e-commerce, you absolutely can go and search engine optimize your images, but it's not quite as important. But essentially, it's just making sure that in your alt text of your photo, essentially in the name of your photo, when you upload it to your website, that it's descriptive. So instead of just saying, if you sell lasers, instead of just saying laser image, say what kind of laser it is. So when I go out and search for a specific type of laser, your company comes up as that's your product. And then don't use a bunch of keywords in images. The bots have actually started to, I guess, disengage with that. Used to, a great way to do SEO is just put a bunch of keywords in to try to describe what you're selling or what your image is, and that's actually kind of frowned upon now because it's kind of just like a keyword dump. So just be descriptive in that image description or in that image name, and you'll be good to go. But again, bonus round here. This takes kind of a lot of time and effort, especially if you have a lot of images on your website. So if you do everything else first and you really feel like you want to increase your SEO, this would be the next kind of big step. And so finally, one way to increase your SEO is through creating compelling content and updating that content on your website. And so that can be everything from if you're already creating blog content or you're already creating newsletter content, just posting that to your website. If you get linked in the media, if you have a new product or service, or you get a press release that's sent out, link that to your website. Create kind of like a blog and link those media mentions to your website. One, it's a great way to promote your website and provide additional content on what's going on and keep your website up to date, but it keeps your website up to date. And so whenever the bots are going out and searching the internet and looking for websites, yours has been recently updated with a blog or a newsletter or some type of media. And so it knows that you're still an active company, you're still an active opportunity. And so it's going to connect that searcher with your business. And so that's a great way to kind of keep it up to date. It also creates great social media content like what we talked about, and it really positions you as a subject matter expert. So it's a win-win all around as we look at how to engage our customers on multiple levels. And then finally, Google My Business. So this is a big one. There's so many times I go out and you search for a company and either they don't have a Google My Business, they have an old or wrong address, an old or wrong phone number, they don't have the right hours of operation. And so Google My Business is free. to go out and create a listing like this. If your company has a listing like this already out there and you don't have control of it, it's pretty easy to go out and claim your Google My Business. They can send you it by mail, they can do it by phone. So there's multiple opportunities for you to go out and claim it, but go out there, claim your Google My Business, make sure it's up to date. You can run ads and things from Google My Business, but at minimum, go out there, claim it, update it, put some photos, and then ask people to send you some reviews for Google My Business. And we'll talk about asking for reviews later on. But this is an easy, quick way to make sure that people are getting the correct content on your business and that you're coming up. So that is kind of a crash course in SEO. Like I said, we'll talk at the end a little bit about more resources and how we can deep dive in. But the final way that we can work to intentionally engage our potential customers and turn them into visitors of our website is through paid media. And so there's quite a few opportunities for you to utilize paid media. There's, your standard social media ads and things like that. But there's also website ads. And so there's a few different types of website ads. You have your display ads, and that's your traditional ad on like a third-party site. So sometimes they can be like a pop-up that you see or that banner ad. They can be video. And one opportunity you can use is called geofencing. And so that's where you determine a specific area that you want to target. So for example, if your industry has a conference that you attend every year and you want to geofence and send ads to everybody that attends that specific content or conference in a specific area, you can geofence and send those display ads to a specific area. You can also do geofence if you have a service area, so you only send ads to a specific area. And so that's a unique way that you can engage with your target audience. Native ads, those are the ones that you see kind of just as you're scrolling through like social media, but they're ads that you see as part of just regular content. And then retargeting. So this is where when someone visits your website or visits a certain site, they can see ads specific to your product later on. So this is what you see whenever you go out and you look at a specific pair of shoes and you put it in your basket, and then later on you see that same pair of shoes in an ad to you. That's retargeting. And so you can utilize that to retarget potential customers to help kind of close that deal. And then finally, search engine marketing. That's what you see on the example on the screen. You see this a lot when you go to search. And so this is kind of a way to pay for what we talked about earlier with the search engine optimization. So if your company isn't where you want to be with SEO right now, you can pay for search engine marketing and kind of push yourself at the top based on specific keywords that you identify. And then you pay per view, which is basically CPM or pay per click. And so you just kind of identify those keywords and then your content just automatically goes to the top, but you're paying for that. So ideally we're working on that SEO to get that up organically and then kind of using SEM until we get there. So that's all the ways that we work on that first engaging with our customer. So there's a plethora of ways we can engage them. But once we engage those customers, we want to send them somewhere. So we want to make sure that when they're visiting us, we're sending them somewhere and we're doing something with it. We haven't just posted social media content or gotten them to our website for no reason. And so we want to convert those visitors into potential customers or into customers and close that sale. And so one of the ways that you can do that is through just a general landing page. So you can create a specific landing page with specific content if you're trying to lead your customers to a specific call to action. Another is gated content. So if you create a white paper or if you have a specific sale going on, you can gate that content behind and ask for them to schedule a consultation or sign up for an email list. And so you kind of capture their information and have them as a lead. And then in exchange, they get that gated content that you're willing to provide. Another way is through newsletter signups. So it can be a general, hey, sign up for our newsletter to stay up to date, or it can be something like a VIP club where you send them specific offers and they're part of a specific club. And in exchange, you get their email. They're now a lead. They're now getting your information. Like I said, that can be a call to action, schedule a consultation. It can also just be sending your customers to your homepage and having a call to action on your homepage. If you don't want to get specific and you just want to be real simple, you can just have that call to action on your homepage and send them there, and then we turn them into leads through that call to action. So when we look at our homepage, there's a few things that we want to make sure that we have to increase the opportunity for us to turn those customers into leads. And so you want to make sure it's compelling. We want to optimize it like we talked about. So you can see it on a computer screen, you can see it on a cell phone. It looks great either way. That's great for SEO. It's great for customers and their experience. And then you want to keep your navigation links to a minimum. So you don't want a ton of navigation links across the top, less than 6, really honestly probably less than around 4 or 5. And then a video on your homepage can be a great way. Like we said earlier with social media, people love video content. But the most important thing is creating that call to action, and you want to do that above the fold. Or when I say above the fold, above that finger scroll or that mouse scroll. So making sure that you're asking them to do whatever you need them to do, or whatever you want them to do. Create a consultation, book an appointment, sign up for our email news list. Check out, the newest sale that you have going on your website, point them towards that e-commerce, whatever the next step that they need to do to get into your sales funnel or to turn from a lead to a customer. That's what we want to be asking them to do above that finger scroll. And so we want to make sure that when we're sending them to whatever landing page or website, that we've got kind of that call to action to get them to that next step. And so once we've gotten them to that next step, we turn them into a lead, we have their email, they scheduled a consultation. We want to make sure we're following up and that we're closing them and turning them into a customer. And so there's a variety of ways for us to take a lead and turn them into a customer. If we're pointing them directly to our e-commerce, hopefully they're turning directly into a customer. If we're signing them up for a consultation, at that point we take them through our sales funnel. If they sign up for an email newsletter, then we're closing through emails and drip campaigns or an email automation. And so when we talk about email marketing, there's a few tips that I want to talk about. There's ways to automate this. And so the goal in digital marketing, and the best thing about digital marketing, is a lot of this can be automated where it's already happening. So as long as you set it up on the front end, you set up your SEO, you're good to go. You start scheduling your social media content, you just let that roll. You set up an email newsletter that automatically sends a drip campaign or a funnel of emails. That's just going. And so that is generating sales leads without you having to pay for a sales team or for you to be looking at it every day or every week. You're constantly working on it. And so that's a great way that digital marketing can be working for you as long as you're working your customers through. And so tools that you can utilize to automate through email marketing. One is OmniSend, and then another is MailChimp. We use MailChimp. I'm a huge fan of MailChimp, but both of them are great platforms. There's a couple of other platforms out there, and I'm sure you guys are all using different types of platforms. But you can build in an automation. And so essentially you can, once a customer comes into your pipeline and signs up for your email newsletter, they can receive a welcome email, a follow-up email. You can essentially provide relevant content to them, and then make sure that you're separating them into different lists based on where they came in. So if they came in from a specific landing page and that's where you got their email, you can send them through a different automation. If they came in and signed up for your VIP list, you can send them specific coupons and offers through that. And so just making sure that you're sending them relevant content based on where they entered from your email, kind of from your ask. But essentially, you just want to make sure that you're personable via email. It doesn't feel canned. I try not to rely very heavily on images. One, because not all images load via email. So if you put all your information in an email image and then it doesn't load, you've kind of lost all of your opportunity to close that sale. And it also seems more personable. One of the examples I provide is an email that I got from HubSpot. I signed up the first time that I signed up for email for Website Grader. I got this email. Website Grader is a HubSpot application. And so I got a follow-up email, seems very personable, 100% automated. And so I was entered into at that point a drip campaign with Olivia, one of the HubSpot salespeople. And so it automatically sent me emails from her that were seemed personable, but were automated. And so you can integrate that if you want to create a more personalized sales process, or you can integrate with additional coupons and other advertising. One of the things that I love about MailChimp is that it does allow you to iterate, though, and to A/B test your campaign. So you can create multiple campaigns and test them with different clients and see which get the most click-through rates, the open rates, which are you getting unsubscribed on. And so the ones that are performing the best, you can just transition to those. And so you want to make sure that you're constantly analyzing those click-through rates, open rates, and unsubscribe rates, and kind of changing those campaigns. And then once you settle on a good one, it just runs its course. Okay, so we've talked about how we kind of engage our business, or we engage our ideal client, then we convert them into customers, and then now that we've created a customer, we want to build on that. And so you want to make sure that you're sending out regular emails. So if you have them in an email list, you're engaging them through regular emails. Those can be automated as well. That social engagement that we talked about, socializing with them on social media. Requesting reviews. So once you build out that Google My Business, you build out your Facebook page, asking your loyal customers for reviews and turning them into supporters and fans of your business is very important. And then even offering referral programs. So if they refer someone to you, they receive a certain percentage off of their next service. Your customers can be your biggest supporters and your best sales team if they've already interacted with you. And then asking them for testimonials. So that makes great social media content and makes great website content, and really promotes your brand and validates the work that you're doing. So we've kind of worked our way all the way through this process of kind of potentials all the way to supporters. So engaging, converting, closing, and building, and all of the different mechanisms that digital marketing has to take us through that process and to really utilize it as a strategy versus just going out there and putting out some social media content or buying ads. We want to make sure that we have a purpose, that we're identifying our ideal customer and then working them all the way through this process so that we end up with, at minimum, customers, but hopefully supporters of our business. So that is the end of my presentation. I'm going to open it up for questions here in a minute, but I do want to provide some additional resources for you all. One resource is on our Conductor website. So back in the spring, we did a 12-part social media series specific to marketing. And so there are webinars on every topic that I touched on today. There's one specifically on Google My Business, on how to optimize Google My Business if you're not familiar with that. There's another one specifically on SEO, and that really dives into some of the topics that I just kind of touched on today. There's an email marketing one. There's one on creating fans of your business. So how to take your customers and turn them into fans and some specific tactics around that. And so, like I said, I kind of created just a general overview today, but I would love to for you to go out there and utilize these resources and really dive deep into some of the topics if you need additional resources or information. And so with that, I will open it up for questions. So you're welcome to unmute yourselves or just throw it into the chat, and I'll be monitoring that, and we can just answer any questions that you guys have. I appreciate you hanging in there as I went through kind of quite a bit of information at one time. Okay, so we have one question from Cynthia. She says she missed the slide on blogs. Is there a site you suggest that's easy to navigate and easy to publish? That's a great question. So my suggestion on blogs would be to create a blog through your current website. It creates a great way to publish new content and consistently publish new content. That's good for your SEO because it keeps updating your website so that your website's being updated with new content. And then you can link when you post those blogs on social media back to your website, which drives that traffic. And so most websites, Squarespace, WordPress, they have a blog type plugin where you can just build a blog directly on your website. You don't have to have another URL or anything like that. And then it helps to build your content. So great question, Cynthia. So does anyone else have any questions? You can throw them into the chat, or like I said, feel free to unmute and we can just discuss as a group. Awesome. I'm glad that answered your question, Cynthia. Okay. Well, thank you all. If anyone doesn't have any questions, we'll just go ahead and close out. But I appreciate all of you joining us today. If you do have additional questions, my email is grace@arconductor.org. You can find all of those resources that I discussed at arconductor.org. And we'd love to talk with you, to chat. You can always set up a one-on-one consult with any member of our team to discuss marketing, how to expand your business model, sales, anything that's troubling you with your business. But we appreciate your time today, and hopefully you'll join us for a webinar here again in the future.